You know, when you look outside at a tree or maybe a houseplant sitting on your desk, what do you actually see? For most of us, let's be honest, leaves are just passive, pretty green decorations. But today, I want to completely challenge that perception, because underneath that thin, waxy exterior lies the absolute most essential, highly efficient biological factory on planet Earth. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking an exclusive microscopic tour inside the leaf to discover exactly how these intricate anatomical structures build the food that literally sustains our entire world. So here's the roadmap for our tour today. We're going to cover 1. Nature's ultimate food factory, 2. Gathering the raw materials, 3. The manufacturing floor, 4. The photosynthesis process, and finally, 5. Shipping and specialized upgrades. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, Nature's Ultimate Food Factory. Now, the absolutely crucial point to understand here is this elegant chemical equation. This is the ultimate goal of the leaf. It's the formula for photosynthesis. Basically, the plant needs to gather 6 molecules of carbon dioxide and 6 molecules of water, and then use the energy from sunlight to synthesize them into 1 molecule of glucose, which is a sugar, the plant's actual food, and 6 molecules of oxygen as a byproduct. Every single physical structure we are about to explore today is adapted to make this exact reaction happen as efficiently as possible. Moving right along to Section 2, Gathering the Raw Materials. So think about it. This actually presents a massive engineering problem. The leaf needs carbon dioxide from the air, right? But if it just leaves itself wide open to the breeze, it's going to lose all its precious internal water to evaporation, and even worse, it might let in harmful bacteria. So how exactly does a plant gather its ingredients from the atmosphere without catastrophically drying out or letting intruders in? Well, nature's evolutionary solution to this is absolutely brilliant. Enter the stomata. You can think of these as the dynamic, microscopic security gates of our factory, and they're located mostly on the underside of the leaf. Now, these pores don't just stay wide open all the time. They're flanked by specialized, sausage-shaped guard cells that act exactly like microscopic bouncers. When the plant needs carbon dioxide, these guard cells change shape to open the stoma. But if the plant is losing way too much water, the guard cells swell up and shut the gates tight, completely sealing the factory off from the outside world to conserve moisture. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is what happens once carbon dioxide actually gets past security. It embarks on quite a journey. The CO2 diffuses through that open stoma and enters what's called the spongy mesophyll. This is a highly airy layer of cells with plenty of empty space between them, essentially acting as the factory's internal ventilation system. The carbon dioxide easily navigates these air spaces, dissolving right into the cell walls and eventually making its way up toward the main production zone. And that brings us to Section 3, the manufacturing floor. Right beneath the leaf's transparent, waterproof, waxy cuticle, which by the way acts kind of like a giant skylight, sits the palisade mesophyll layer. Notice how these cells are tightly packed, column-shaped, and pushed right up against the top of the leaf. They are perfectly positioned to absorb the absolute maximum amount of sunlight possible. Inside these palisade cells, you can see the tiny green structures where the actual assembly line is housed, the chloroplasts. This is precisely how leaf structures physically build food. To put that into perspective and give you a sense of the sheer scale of this operation, a single one of those microscopic palisade mesophyll cells contains between 30 and 40 chloroplasts. Imagine millions of these cells in a single leaf, each packed with dozens of chloroplasts, all working simultaneously. It's mind-blowing. Which perfectly segues into Section 4, the photosynthesis process. Okay, let's dive into this. The manufacturing process actually happens in 2 distinct shifts. Step 1 is the light-dependent reactions. These take place on tiny membranous sacs called thylakoids. Here, sunlight is captured and used to literally split water molecules, releasing oxygen and generating temporary energy. Then we have Step 2, the light-independent reactions, also known as the Calvin cycle. This happens in the alkaline fluid of the chloroplast called the stroma. The plant takes that temporary energy from Step 1 and uses it to fix the carbon dioxide into our final product, glucose. There are several vital molecular workers that make all of this happen. Chlorophyll is the green pigment that actually traps the light energy. ATP and NDPH act as the energy carrier molecules, basically the factory's internal rechargeable batteries. And finally, rubisco is the crucial enzyme that grabs carbon dioxide and pulls it straight into the Calvin cycle. And get this entire biological assembly line operates at absolute peak efficiency when the temperature is right between 25 and 30 degrees Celsius.
Now for our final stop, Section 5, Shipping and Specialized Upgrades.
Running right through the leaf is the vascular bundle, which you can think of as the factory's plumbing and shipping department. It's made of two main tissues. The xylem acts as the inbound plumbing. It's a hollow tube that transports water all the way up from the plant's roots and distributes it through the leaf's veins. On the flip side, the phloem is the outbound shipping department. Once the palisade cells manufacture the glucose, the phloem transports these finished sugars away from the leaf to feed the rest of the plant. Looking at this whole system, it just proves how flawlessly form matches function in this biological factory. The waxy cuticle provides transparent protection. The spongy mesophyll allows for gas ventilation. The palisade mesophyll packs in the chloroplasts for maximum light absorption. And the vascular bundle handles the logistics of water and sugar transport. It is, without a doubt, a masterpiece of natural engineering. But wait, evolution didn't stop there. Some plants have actually developed advanced factory upgrades. Have you ever heard of Cran's anatomy? In harsh, hot environments, oxygen can sometimes interfere with rubisco, causing a super wasteful process called photorespiration. To prevent this, C4 plants, like maize for example, evolved a specialized ring-like arrangement of cells. They physically isolate rubisco in inner bundle sheath cells and pump carbon dioxide into them, creating a highly concentrated CO2 environment. It's literally like building a specialized climate-controlled clean room right in the middle of the factory, just to ensure the machinery never jams up. And you know, the leaf's ingenuity even extends to its colors. We all know chlorophyll makes leaves green, right? But what about those beautiful autumn colors? Pigments like red anthocyanins and yellow-orange carotenoids aren't just there to look pretty for us. They are functional tools. Anthocyanins actually act as a biological sunscreen and an antioxidant, protecting the leaf's delicate chloroplasts from cold temperatures, so the plant has enough time to break down and recycle valuable nitrogen before winter sets in. Before we wrap up, I want to hit you with a number to really put the importance of these miniature factories into perspective. 70%. These microscopic, entirely silent leaf factories produce roughly 70% of the oxygen currently in Earth's atmosphere. Every single breath you take is largely sponsored by the exact cellular mechanisms we just explored. But these incredibly delicate systems are currently under threat. Research actually shows that warming global temperatures are causing tropical forest leaves to become darker. This reduces the amount of light they reflect and increases how much heat they absorb, which could, in a really dangerous loop, further increase global warming. So it really begs the question, as climate change physically alters the biochemistry and albedo of nature's ultimate food factory, how will these vital structures adapt to secure the future of our planet's food and air supply? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and as always, keep your curiosity growing.